Well, good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? All right, so gold and silver kind of settled back. Now we have the 10 o'clock drop. Gold is 49.32, but we know it hit 5,070, so we're back there. We can't really count the 10 o'clock drop as anything. Silver's back down to 87.06 again. The 10 o'clock drop there. So it was 92. And then the US doing their bullshit 10 o'clock drop. So you can't really look at it. What we look at is the 90 to 92 there. So I don't pay attention at the 10 o'clock drop. We know it's phony, it's the settle thing. So it's not real. Anyway. Silver or gold still holding. It's got to the 5,000, so it was 50, almost 5,100. So it's back over the five, and silver was back over 90. So it'll get right back there by noon. Again, the games that Comex plays, which is why we hate Comex. What's really happening? Basically, most of these countries are broke. The U.S. is broke. They go to war to steal oil, gold, and silver, like Hitler did. They're using his playbook. So they're trying to do everything. People think they'll revalue gold. And I think they can only do that if they actually have any gold. So that's what's happening with most of the countries. They've allowed this immigration, and again, they're handing out things. It's like the Romans handing out bread and having circuses to divert the attention, and that's really what is happening here. So, if we understand the dollar's dead, we buy gold and silver. It's the only option. It's the only lifeboat, and that's why we buy it. Now, you hear I watch a little Mr. Fuji AI, and he's all over the place. It's going to drop at 3 o'clock in the morning. It didn't. It's going to go up. It's going to drop. It's going to go up. They're going to tax your gold and silver. They're going to take your gold and silver. It's also stupid. Please don't listen to any bullshit this guy says, especially when he says, "Oh, at 11:30 at night." Nobody's working at 11:30 at night. Nobody's in the office at 11:30 at night. They just signed this thing. Again, trying to tax your gold and silver. Well, we already know that. But if we don't get a 1099, we're not paying tax, so we won't get a 1099. Then apparently he's like, "Oh, well, they're going to ask for your social security card." Not my guy. Most people won't ask for it. They just won't because it's too much work for them. They just want to sell. They don't care about that. So I'll be surprised if my guy says, "Hey, I need it." Now, the other thing is we've already bought. we're pretty much all bought. So now we're just holding. When we sell again, it'll be a couple ounces here and there, and there's no 1099 and no tax to worry about. So again, they're trying to scare you. Oh shit, I should do capital gains on my, 5 ounces of gold I sell. We're not interested in selling. This is not profit taking. You guys don't even profit take Bitcoin. So you're not profit taking gold and silver. That's the beauty of it. You buy it and just hold it and let the price go up. Now, we're a little bit enamored that the price of silver went to 120 and now it's back to 90, and we're kind of going, what happened there? Why did it? We're like, okay, let's get back to where it was, and then let's get back to $200 silver as it should. We're waiting for it. And that gets anxious for us because before we didn't really care. We saw it hit 70 Christmas, and then it went to 90, and then we got 100, and we're watching it run, and we're okay, finally here it goes. And it's going up $2, $3, $4 a day. Then that's what should be happening. Silver is not an $80, $90. It's not a $90 asset. It's much higher. The supply hasn't gone anywhere. It's still none, and the demand hasn't gone. It's still huge. So again, letting the paper market dictate a physical price is absolutely ridiculous. We understand that. China did raise it. So the other day, China kind of let it drop, but not yesterday. They're back to buying. And it depends on the day. Certain days it goes up, everybody buys, and certain days it goes down. Again, it's the manipulation of the paper market. And that's where we've been understanding that this is all a Ponzi scheme. It's all bullshit. And so you kind of got to ignore it. What you should be paying attention to is, I got 1,000 ounces of silver and I got 100 ounces of gold, or somewhere in that neighborhood, right? And that's really what you know, and you're holding it. And you're not selling it. You're not panicking, going, oh, it's going down. No, because it won't go. It will go way up, right? It's not gonna. These are options. Okay, you played your option card. You've done. It's all paper, which we don't really care about. The BRICS gold-backed currency, and they'll start making a physical price of gold and silver. They need it much higher. The U.S. has made it a certain type of metal. What is that? A mineral, for defense, a security mineral or whatever they call it, silver. It doesn't mean anything. The price is still controlled by COMEX until it isn't, right? It'll be free market. And once it is, the price will go up, and it won't matter. The defense contractors will buy it at any price. What we still know is a $39 trillion debt, plus you owe interest, plus you owe all the government employees, plus you owe Medicare and Social Security, plus you owe everything else, and you own the defense contractors, buying the weapons, as well as the big government. So you owe all that. That didn't go anywhere. There's very little gold and silver left. There's very high demand. And again, keep in mind, this is worldwide. This is China and Russia buying it also. This isn't just us buying it. So if you keep that in mind, it's not like this is a U.S. thing and the U.S. is the only ones buying it. I keep getting these stock tips. Like I need stock tips, like I need a hole in the head. So we keep getting, we keep understanding what's happening, right? We know the whole BRICS needs gold and silver. And we go back to, you're still bankrupt, the US, Canada, Europe. And the only out is gold and silver, not Bitcoin, not digital. Digital's not an out. Digital's not real. So you realize that's your only out. So the question you ask is not, you're not asking, is the price going to go up or down? What you're asking is, well, I should be buying gold and silver because I need to get out of dollars because the dollars are worthless. So that's the only thing on your mind is not, oh, I better sell gold and silver before the price goes down, because that's not our concern. We can't control that. That's controlled by COMEX, which is fake. It's a Madoff. And so we go, well, BRICS is our friend and they're going to pump the price up. And so that's what we realize. So the US, the banks are printing money that's worthless to lower the price or something, like you can see now where silver's 87, but it was 91. At 9 o'clock in the morning when I woke up, it was 91. So I said, oh, happy times, it's 91. So we understand that. We understand it's short term what COMEX is doing. It's all illegal. It's all bullshit. It's all a Ponzi scheme. So we get that. The banks shorting to themselves. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. The only reason it's working because the banks own the government, so therefore they're not gonna piss on themselves. Which is sort of like Madoff. Since the SEC and JP Morgan were in on Madoff, the SEC was never gonna say, oh, it is a Ponzi scheme that Madoff's doing. They always said that we can't find any problem with it because the SEC was in on it. These two guys from the Netflix thing, the financial guys from the other one. Why does my TV keep doing that? Fuck I mute it. I pause it and then it unpauses. So that's why the SEC never reported on Madoff. They were in on the scam. They should have went to jail, but they didn't. So again, if you understand the banks are on the government, and here the banks, oh, we're stupid. We shorted it. We got to keep the price down so we can do more shorts. I don't even know if they make any money on it. Maybe when it was 120 and they shorted it down to 70, I'm sure they made money on that if they're smart enough to sell it or to buy it at 77. I had to tell my friend yesterday, he didn't understand short covering. And I said, well, if you sell at 90, you want to buy at a higher number. So you got to kind of reverse it. In other words, if I sell at 70, I want to buy at 80. Or if I buy at 80, I want to sell at 70. So you're just doing it in reverse. So you always want to make more. So it's almost like if you're shorting it at 80, you want to buy at 70, right? So it's almost reverse. I bought at 70, I sold it at 80. That's kind of what you're doing, but in reverse order. So if you're shorting at 90, you want to buy it at 80. So you want the price to fall. Unlike if you're going long on it and you buy it at 100, you want to sell at 110. So when you're dealing with shorts, you sell first, you buy later. So it's kind of like I won't buy and sell at a higher price. So that means if I'm selling at 100, I want to buy it back at 90. Why these idiots do this is beyond me when all the demand's there. The governments are really just holding on for dear life because they're all bankrupt. And they can print monopoly money and lower the price for a while, but it's not going to hold. And eventually BRICS will just keep buying it because they have gold-backed currency now, and that's what they're going to use is the gold. They're going to want a higher price. The US dollar is basically worthless. So we understand all that. So to cover on a short, you want the price to go down. And that's what I meant by covering, right? So they shorted at 120, they want it less. Now they're shorting at 91, and they want it down to 85 or 80 or whatever. Or they want to keep the price at 70. Like, all you're doing is allowing these other countries to buy it at that low price, and you're not buying it there. So, we know JP Morgan is the most criminal bank in the world, worse than HSBC. But we understand that, and we understand they run the government, so they'll never prosecute themselves. So we understand that. So we just, again, it's more important that we have the gold and silver and hold it than actually the price going up at this point. Eventually, soon we'll get the price jump that we're waiting. $8,000 gold and $500 silver. It's coming, but this is the U.S. government's last chance, and they're trying to push it down like nobody knows. It's just bullshit. And what most people don't talk about, if you listen to these YouTube idiots, the Andy Schechtmans, who I don't know why he's on, he doesn't know anything. They don't mention the dollar's worthless. They don't understand inflation, which is what turns me off right away. In other words, the inflation's huge. The dollar is worthless. So all these little games they're playing with worthless dollars. And Russia and China know this. BRICS knows the dollar's worthless. They don't want to play with it anymore. The U.S. probably knows it. That's why they're trying to find something, because we don't have gold or silvers to get into digital money, as if that's money, but it's not. So all we care about now is getting gold and silver and holding it, right? We're not looking to sell it. We are not in ETFs. We are not in gold and silver stocks. Those are huge mistakes, because you're back in dollars. Bitcoin, you're back in dollars. You don't want to be in this because this isn't worth anything yet. I'm in Bitcoin. I'm in gold and silver stocks. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Get out of dollars. You're on the Titanic. Well, we're on the deck. We're in the third deck. Oh no, we moved to the second deck. Well, the boat's still sinking. It doesn't matter. John C. I'm miserable life. I don't know what that means. Have a great stream. Well, thank you, John C. So anyway, that's really what we focus on, and what you should be focusing on now. The most important is you have your physical and you're not selling it. You just hold it. Now, if you have a bill to pay, you're going on vacation, you need to sell an ounce and get $5,000 for it, and sell 1 ounce. So if you got 100 ounces, sell 1 or 2 ounces. It's fine. But the bulk of it, you don't want to sell. We're way ahead of the game. We've already bought. I'm buying in 1800 years ago. So I'm already ahead of the game. Now I'm just sitting back. And I'm seeing it ebb and flow, but I know in the long run it's going to be $20,000 an ounce. And you just have to be patient and wait for it. So right now you get $5,000 for it. Soon you get $10,000 for it. But this little game they're playing with the whole COMEX thing is just a joke. As they run out of physical, there's no COMEX to really have. These little games they're playing, believe me, Russia and China are laughing at it. Cart, how are you? Good morning. Professor, the price is falling, and in India, the advisors are saying that silver will go to 60 and gold will go to 4,000. Please guide. Why the fuck would you listen to these guys? No, it's going the other way. They're shorting them again. Why is it priced by COMEX? Isn't there an Indian price of gold, physical gold and silver? I know in China there is. I would watch the Chinese Shanghai price physical before that, but COMEX is not. Gold, silver's not going to 60. It's back over 90, right? And gold will never see 4,000 again. It's on its way to 8,000. So I don't know where they're just pulling it out of their ass. Why are you listening to it? Do you know these people? Are they Keynesians or Austrians? I mean, be careful who you listen to, right? I'm telling you what will happen. It will go to 10,000 gold, and silver will go to 1,000. Now, there's little games being played here and there. We don't pay attention to it. The fact is you own it. So if you own the physical, that's all you care about. This is just noise. And even if it goes down to 4,000, how long is that going to stay? A week? And it'll be bought up. The key here is you're in India and Russia and China and the rest of the BRICS countries are all buying gold, which will force the price up. So as soon as that price starts dipping a little, it gets bought up. That's what's happening today. So let's get this 10 o'clock thing over. Gold's 49.30 now. So gold, you can see like gold, okay, that's the 10 o'clock drop. That's the bullshit. But look where it was. It was 5,100 almost. And now it hit 49 and now it's back up to 49.30. There's buyers that are not going to let the price drop. There's too much demand for it. When you have demand, that's it. Silver's 87. Okay, it's going through the COMEX time. That's fine. We don't really care about that. That's what it is. So because we have the bricks demand, we don't worry about the price dropping because as soon as it gets a little bit low, it gets bought up. And even if the US keeps silver at 87 today, China gets it tonight, they'll kick it back to 90, 91. There's different markets. India, when do you guys buy gold and silver? When are you on COMEX? You're going to buy it because you need gold and silver. You're on BRICS. You're got gold backed currency. So who are you listening to and why? But what is the reason? And if they don't give you one, I wouldn't listen to these guys. You should know what you're doing. I'm teaching you what to do. The demand from BRICS is what, as soon as the price drops a little bit, they pound it. It will never see 4,000 gold. It won't see. It went all the way down to what 4,500 last week with this whole mark to market thing, and now it's back to 5,000 pretty much. And silver too. Okay, we got 120 based on demand. It went down to 72, and then it jumped back up, and then it went back to 79, and then it jumped over 90, 91. So that's all you should be looking at. Is ask yourself why? Because of demand, because the BRICS countries are gold back and silver back currency. So their demand, and as more countries join BRICS, it's going to be like 80, 90 countries. They're all going to need gold to trade amongst each other. The dollar is collapsing. So the dollar, again, this price is COMEX. This is a paper price by basically banking Madoffs who are trying to lower the, I don't know what they're doing now. I mean, but it won't last because Russia and China are going to say, fuck it, we're buying it. Thank you. So you're just making it cheaper for us. So that'll continue. These little games, it's just a Madoff type of game. It's a Ponzi scheme. They're trying to get the price, but we'll eventually break it and just go to a physical price. And that's all you need to do is accumulate the gold and silver and don't pay attention every day. Oh, it's going down like right now. Well, of course, it's the 10 o'clock drop. We know it goes down every day at 10 o'clock, but we know it goes back up at 11 o'clock. So we're just entering that time frame. But gold has fallen today and silver too. Okay, but was it up yesterday? Yeah. So I came on at like 9:30 my time to tell you gold was over 5,000 and silver was 88. And by the time I went to bed, silver hit 91. This is not a stock. You've got to stop pretending it's a stock. It's gold. It's money. It is not going down. The value is in the coins. This is only going to go up. This is the most desirable thing you could have now. Everybody wants it. It's needed in all these different things. And the demand is huge and the supply is zero. There's very little supply of this. The price has to go up. So in the real world, the price is going up and up and up. So if somebody wants silver to make an airplane, they're going to pay whatever. And the price will keep going up because there is no supply of it. Like I said, they didn't make silver mines. So you got to quit worrying about in the middle of a 10 o'clock drop that the price is down. That's not the game we're playing. The game we're playing is accumulation. We're accumulating gold and silver. That's what we want. It has nothing to do. We're not looking at the COMEX paper option derivative price. That's fantasy land. So God, stop looking at it. It's our price point to buy, but it's got nothing to do with anything. That's not the real price. The real price of gold right now is $10,000. Real price of silver is $1,000. COMEX can say what it wants, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not real. So that's what you must understand. So stop looking at it like it's a stock because it's not. It's money. It's physical. It's limited, extremely rare. and the demand's high. And as long as the demand's high, the price will go up. That's all I can teach you about. That's Austrian economics. That's how you price things in the marketplace, is how much people want it and how much of the supply there is. And if there's very little supply and high demand, the price goes up. So that's all I would worry about. So, Professor, shall I buy 1 kilogram silver tomorrow and buy 20 kilogram of gold? And if I wait for 6 months, will I get profit? You don't care about that. Stop looking at it as a stock. If you can afford silver and gold, I would buy it now because it's cheap now. You won't see these prices anymore. You can get gold under 5,000 an ounce, and I don't know how to measure it in kilograms or grams. We deal in ounces in the U.S., so if you can afford it, I would buy it right now. Silver, I would get at you can get 87, 88. I don't know what your premiums are there, but I would buy as much as you can because you want to be out of rupees. Right? Your rupees are worthless. Your rupees are the same value as the dollar, zero. So you need to get out of your rupees. So the first game you're playing is get out of your rupees. And the only thing you can buy, the only lifeboat's gold and silver. So you should buy as much gold and silver because you've got to get out of your rupees. Because if you hold 100,000 in rupees, it's worthless. It's worth zero. The value's gone. So that's your first thing. So that's the first part of the game. Get out of your rupees. I got out of my dollars. People with a lot of money are selling all their dollars for gold and silver because the dollar is worthless. Your rupee, you've been inflated since you hit 80 to the dollar. It's been worthless. So this whole thing of like your dollar, the rupee, the yuan, the yen, the ruble, the Swiss franc, and the euro, and the British pound, they all have no value. They've all been printed. They're not backed by anything. So fundamentally, you're holding a piece of paper. So you need to get out of the piece of paper and buy gold and silver. I bought silver at $20, $25 an ounce and sat there for a while. And I kept buying and I kept buying and I kept buying because I knew that it was paper price, not physical price. So I knew the real price was much higher. I'm sitting there saying, well, I'm buying $500 an ounce silver for $25. And it's getting there as it hit 100. So it hit 100, it'll go back, and it hit 5,500, gold will go back. But you're not trying to make profit in 6 months. You're trying to get out of dollars, or in your case, rupees. That's the game you're playing. That's the game we're all playing. This is worthless, right? These have no value. It has a 5 on it. What can you buy with this? Oh, a piece of gum? This is worth nothing. This is worth 1 cent. I can't buy anything with this, right? You go to the grocery store, you put 10 things in your cart, it's $40. Everything's $3, $4 unless I buy apples for 99 cents or something. The game is to get out of dollars. You're not playing the same game that I'm teaching. You get out of the dollar and you get out of your rupee and you buy gold and silver and you hold it. You get a safe and you keep buying as many coins as you can, be it silver, be it gold, be it ounce of gold, quarter ounce of gold, half ounce of gold. It doesn't matter. You keep buying. That's the game. That's what you should be playing right now. The price is irrelevant because right now it's a COMEX price going to a physical price. You of all people should know, based on BRICS, and you're in BRICS, that you should have gold-backed currency coming out. I know Russia and China are. I thought all the BRICS. If you want to trade in BRICS, you're using gold-backed currency. So your first part of the game is to get out of your dollar and buy gold and silver. I would say buy other things, but there's really the best thing to buy is gold and silver. Yeah, you can buy a Rolex or a Mickey Mantle card or a Picasso, but for what you are, I would buy gold and silver, and I wouldn't time it. Oh, in 2 months it's going to be this, or 6 months. It's not a stock. It's going to go. The demand for physical is there. Every country's doing. China's got 80,000 tons. Putin's got 20,000 in the swimming pool. So you've got to realize that they are buying gold and silver. They don't want to trade in the dollar. You don't want to trade in the dollar. So understand that gold and silver will go up. Now it went up a lot, right? Christmas it was 70. So from Christmas it went from 70 where it's 87 now. If you didn't see the 120 and it just did the normal and now we're at 87, you'd be happy, right? So look where it's come in a month. And that's all you should be paying attention to. And you're not buying this to look at the price. You're buying this because you have to get out of your rupee or your dollar or whatever paper crap that your country's in. You have to get out of it. It has no value, right? So, you go to the grocery store, I'm sure everything's more expensive as it is everywhere else. And these governments are all idiots. They don't know what they're doing. You guys are Keynesian, the Indians, we're Keynesian, the US, England's Keynesian. So they're all a bunch of idiots. And they're all, oh, well, I'm sure you have a big debt, and I'm sure you're paying interest on your debt, and you're paying all your government employees because you have a massive government for some reason that you can't afford. So you're printing your money. Well, as you print the money, it becomes worthless. So the game is not worrying about the price in 6 months. We're not playing stocks. We're playing real money. And our only concern is that gold and silver, they'll go up. They have to go up because everybody's money is worthless and it's going to zero, as has happened every time in the history of life, including our Roman friends. The money's gone to zero once it's not backed by gold and silver. So all these countries start off fine. Spain, France, Rome, England. I don't know if you ever had a gold standard in India and the American, and we all had it. And then we got rid of it because the corrupt politicians couldn't print because you can only have as much money as you have gold because gold has to back it. Gold's what gives the money value, not the $100 on it says 100 on the dollar. Well, it's not worth anything now. The hundred's not worth what it should be. So keep that in mind. Gold uh, is the backing. And if it's not backed by gold, it's nothing. And they'll all go to zero, as has always happened, because the government, what do they do? So, for example, here, we got to pay our debt. Our debt's $39 trillion. We got to pay interest on it every year. We got Social Security and Medicare. So people retire. We got to pay them. We got to pay all the government employees. Well, we don't have the money for that. Where are we getting it? Oh, we're printing it. We're trying to sell treasuries, but nobody wants it because they all realize our dollar's worthless. So what do? We print more money. Well, that makes the money worth less and less and less because the more that's printed, the less it's worth. We've lost the petrodollar is no longer could only use US dollars to buy uh, uh, Saudi Arabia oil. Now anybody can buy it. China buys it, and I'm sure you probably do too. And you use the gold backed currency to buy it. And so that's really that's gone. And then this FX, where you probably trade with China directly with your rupees buying that. But that's why you got gold back, is because now you'll trade in gold, right? And that's what's happening. So there's too many dollars out there. The value of the dollar's gone, as is all these other currencies. That's why BRICS is gold back, and the demand for gold will keep going up and up, which will force the price up and up. That's the lesson you need to understand, which I'm trying to help you understand it. So I wouldn't worry what the price is in 5 or 6 months. I didn't know this was going to happen in January. I'm happy it did, but I don't. I was sitting there with, we're sitting there with 3,500 gold, and we knew it would go up. We didn't know when, but then it hit 5,000 and we're happy. Now we're waiting for 8,000, which will happen by summertime. And then we're looking at all the banks are long on gold and silver. And then we're looking at silver to go to 200 on its way to 500 on its way to 1,000. We don't know the exact time. This isn't stocks. We can't say in the second quarter we're going to do this or that. It doesn't work like that. However, if COMEX is falling apart because they all had to mark the market and it was all phony, again, you're dealing with options and derivatives to price physical metal. It's apples and oranges. So again, you can't worry about when. Physical is the right play. And right now, your job is to buy as much as you can, put it in a safe, and just wait. And eventually it'll go up. And eventually COMEX will blow up. And China is pricing it, and Russia, and those are the good guys now. So we're just watching them price it. The U.S. is going bankrupt. It already is, as is every other country in the world is bankrupt because their money isn't worth anything. Only they won't tell you that, and you really got to understand it. Why do you think China's buying 8,000 tons of gold? Why do you think Putin's buying gold? Why do you think India is buying gold? Because they all know that the alternative is worthless. Even their own currency is worthless. The yuan's worthless. The ruble, the rupee, they're all worthless. They understand that. That's why they're buying gold and silver. You can't go worthless with that because you can't print it. It's what's dug out of the ground, and that's it. There is no more of this. They maybe can dig a little bit more out of the ground, but not enough. And it's all being held in banks. And, China's got 80,000 tons of gold. Well, the 80,000 tons is still there, but now it's sitting in China. And the silver, I think it's like 600,000 tons of worldwide silver. Well, it's already bought. It's already in banks. So it's very hard to find silver to add to it that somebody doesn't already own. So the only way you're getting it is with the higher price. I'm not selling my silver at what'd you say, $60? Nobody's selling their silver at 60. Maybe at 600, I'll sell it, but not at 60. And then I'll only sell a few ounces. So yeah, if you think about it, you can't inflate it. That's why you get into it. And you don't worry about the price, and you don't worry what's going to happen in 3 months or 6 months. You know what's going to happen. We don't know when because COMEX is still trying to fight it, but we know it's not going to last because of the BRICS countries buying and buying and buying. Cart Professor, I need JP Morgan recent report. He is saying that gold will go to 6,000 by 2026. All right. So which report are you going to listen to? The 6,000 by JP Morgan or the 4,000 by the Indian advisors? I don't listen to either of them. I listen to myself because I know more than they do. And gold's going to hit 10,000 soon. I can't give you a date. Silver will hit 1,000 soon. Gold will then go to 20,000. Silver will then go to 5,000 soon. Maybe that's a year away. And then you understand that. You understand the concept. It's very limited. There is no gold and silver supply, and there's huge demand, which isn't going away. People need the military and the jets and the cars all need silver, and the electronic guys and the AI guys all need silver. So the demand's huge. There is no supply. You have to dig it out of the ground. You can't copy it. You can't print it. You can't inflate it. But there's very few silver mines now. Most of the silver has been dug up in the last 70, 80 years. So it's not like you're going to find a new supply. So if you want it, you're going to pay more. And who has it? China's got it. You probably have it. Russia has it. And they're not giving it away. So keep that in mind. And the dollar is gone. It's worthless. So that's the biggest thing you need to do it. And you make your own judgment. My judgment is $10,000 gold. I don't need to listen to JP Morgan. I know I'm right. And silver, I got $1,000 silver. I know I'm right because the concept, the thesis, very limited supply, very high demand. The only thing you worry about is if demand drops. Where's demand going to drop? People still need to make airplanes and cars and tanks and missiles and electronics and AI. That's not going away. So that has to stay. So it's just going to create more demand. And keep in mind, this is worldwide. This isn't like in the US or in India only. You're in all of BRICS, who all need gold and silver to join and trade with. So keep that in mind. This is a worldwide event, not just one country. So when the whole world needs gold and silver and there isn't enough left, the price has to go. That's the first thing. We know it's higher in China. They're trying to set a physical price. The COMEX, I don't know why anybody's using it. It's just a Ponzi scheme. So understand that. And if you understand that, then, I'm telling you what the price will get to and probably go higher, right? Because unless the demand stops, and I don't see how that's possible, the supply isn't going anywhere up, and therefore the price has to go higher because the demand's not going anywhere. That's simple Austrian economics. Chucket, how are you today? Silver's going to 75. Silver's going to 1,000. Just admit it. John C. Silver and gold, awesome. John C. I read a book about J.D. Rockefeller. I recommend everybody watch it. I recommend everybody watch Adam Smith. I don't know about J.D. Rockefeller. Chocolate, silver is going to 75. My brother said he bought 3 ounces for 90. It's going to 75. No, it's not. Silver is going too high. The demand stops. Is that why silver's going to 75? They've already played that card, and it was 75 on Friday, and then it went back up to 90 yesterday or this morning. So if it goes to 75, it's going to 75 for about 30 seconds. So I don't know where you're getting this, but you're just it might get to 75. It's not going to stay at 75. Let's see where we're at now. Gold 49.16 and silver 86.26. So silver still playing the 10 o'clock drop. So silver was 90, just about 92. And then it's taking this 10 o'clock drop. So the U.S. is dropping it down to 86. So, yeah, wouldn't worry about it. I mean, you're trying to get the value of it. You can't, because this is COMEX. This is a Ponzi scheme. We need the physical price. That's what we're really looking at. So, it's not going to stay at 86. I'd say by the end of the class, it'll be back to 88, 89. Do you realize this is option pricing? This isn't physical pricing. So we really don't care what this option pricing is in the derivative pricing, because it's all phony. It's all Madoff. It's like saying Madoff's going to, do something, and Madoff never made a trade. Oh, Madoff's going to hit 100%. Well, he didn't make a trade. He didn't go 100. He went 0. He didn't even get to the plate. He just took money in and paid money out and never play the trade. So, I don't know what to tell you there. I doubt it'll go back down to 75. I think it'll be back at 100 before it goes down to 75. I bet somebody was calling for $52 silver, and I bet them it would go back to 90 before it went to 52, and I won because it went back to 90 yesterday. It depends who's got the ball. You got to keep in mind, China wants to buy. They want the price to go up, as does India when they buy it, Russia. And then you get the Europeans who probably want the price up. And then this is all U.S. trading. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're a bunch of Keynesian idiots. So, I don't know. Again, this is paper, not physical, which we really don't care about. We really care about the physical nature of the beast, not these paper options that are all bullshit. Silver is going to go high. Well, they're all going to go to the real price, which they haven't seen in 50 years, right? So gold's never seen its real price. Somebody asked me at Toyota, well, what's the all-time high for silver? And I said, there isn't one in physical silver. It's never been priced. It's always been the paper price, the option price. The real physical silver all-time high, we have no idea because it hasn't been there yet. But I can tell you this $86 price is a joke. It's not real. So I can tell you that. I can tell you it's 10 times more the physical price. So your brother's smart. You should buy it too. Chalk, you should be your brother said he bought 3 ounces for 90. Well, you should be buying as many ounces as you can. More importantly, how much money do you have? How much paper crap do you have? Right? Are you getting out of this, or are you holding this because you think this has a value? This has no value. That's why I'm showing it to you like this. This is the value of the dollar. It's worth a penny, if that. I don't think that. Go to Kroger's, try to fill your cart, and it's going to cost you $500. That's the value of your dollar. And I showed that in the 1970s. You could fill your cart for $10. And then it was like half full for $10. And now it's 3 items for $10. If you can get 3 items in it for $10. It's got to be like fruit and veggies. And but that's where it is. I mean, this is all Ponzi scheme. This is all paper options. This is not real. They're shorting it to keep the price down. I don't know why. You can't. At the end of the day, the physical price will come out because our friends in Russia and China and in India are buying it, and they want physical. The demand for physical is higher. You can't keep the price down because there's no physical to buy because the supply is almost gone. So you can't really keep the price down then there's no supply for it. So what are the people who need it? You're making a missile and you need 500 ounces of silver. Well, we need the silver. Where is it? Well, nobody's selling it at $85 an ounce. So you need to raise the price. That's what happened. So you've kept the price down at 2025 for years, which was a bullshit price until COMEX entered the market, and COMEX is buying the shit out of it. Or BRICS is buying the shit out of it, which it still is. But now you've ruined the dollar. Where the dollar had value has no value. This is the key. This has no value and this has no value. So what are all these people going to do? They're going to have to buy gold and silver. Now they're trying to scare you with a tax on it and don't buy it and stay in stock because all the banks want you in the stock market where you're going to go broke. You don't want to stay in the bank because the banks are going to do what they just did. Oh yeah, no, sorry, we can't give you your money. How many times do we hear that where the banks keep the money? Well, we can't give it to you. We'd like to, but we can't. So you hear that being frozen. So just be careful with that. That's what's happening. Okay. That's the real what's happening. You can't listen. I mean, we got Card here listening to an Indian guy, and he listens to JP Morgan, and he's fishing around because he needs to do it on his own, right? He needs to understand what I'm giving you my price. I'm not giving you any price. Mark McGuire's 8,000, JP Morgan 6. I don't care. My price is 10,000 on its way to 25,000 for gold because of demand. And because the dollar's worthless. And they can get you, go buy Bitcoin, go buy that. Let's see what Bitcoin's at. I saw it at like 72,000 now. I wonder if it's even in the 70s or did it go under that? Gold down to 4,900. Okay, so the U.S. is having their fun, which will go up when China gets it. And Bitcoin is at 73,000. So all you people in Bitcoin, as it's going down from 120 to 73, ooh, you thought it was going to 1 million because you listened to some idiot say that. It isn't. So again, why this is dropping, 4,900 gold, 85.21 silver. It's just fantasy. Nothing. It's options being people no physical is being sold. This is just options. So again, what's today? Wednesday. So I have no idea why. What are they doing? Right? Okay. What's the point of the option here? I want to wait till it goes up, till I see an uptick. But what's the point of lowering the price? Is this another margin call, I guess? So why don't they do a margin call every day until it gets to 100%? So this is probably a margin call. So people are forced to sell. What kills me is people they've been margin calling it, for since Christmas now. So it's another margin call and more people. So why are people still in options? I don't understand it. Just go buy physical. Silver is going too high. Did you rip that dollar? Yeah. Well, how do you think it got like that? The big corporations are bad. No, they're just stupid. Are rear dollars worth anything? Well, it all comes back to supply and demand. If the rare dollar has demand, it's worth something. If it doesn't, it's not worth anything. Just because it's rare doesn't mean it has value. It has to have demand. That's why I give you Mantle. A rare Mantle card will have a lot of demand, or Mays, or Koufax, or Clemente, or Hank Aaron, or Willie Mays, or Michael Jordan, or Tom Brady. Any of those superstars have demand. So if you have a rare card, it's worth it. But just because it's rare, if it's Dom DiMaggio, Joe DiMaggio's brother, it might not have a big price, even though it's very rare. That Hannes Wagner car, 1906 or 1907, there was only 10 of them. Now, there wasn't huge demand for Hannes Wagner, but there was because there was only 6 or 7 of them. And it was like a cigar company made it, or a candy company. Those were the ones that made sports cards back then. But again, you see the value, it's because it's very limited. So if it is something that there's demand for, the price will go up, which is the point of gold and silver. If the price, if there's demand for it and it's limited, the price will go up. That's why gold and silver should be going up now. Again, we're running into this US margin call bullshit. I don't really understand what their point is. Okay, we'll lower it and then nobody will sell. And then, okay, we're getting all the sellers out of the market. JP Morgan can make a lot of money, I guess, keeping the price down. I don't know. They've already cleaned their margins at 77. So I really don't know what this is. More margins? Oops, there's more margins. So probably my guess is that's what they are. So when we think we're hitting the bottom and then it goes back to 90, we're still getting this interference where the price is going down by a margin call, or a margin call is a forced sell. So in other words, if you're stupid enough to go on margins, you control $100,000 worth of silver with $10,000. But as the price goes down, then you need more margin, right? Because you need a 10% margin, let's say. So now the price is down to the price. Well, I guess you're long. Let's say you're in it at 80, but you want it to go higher. So as it's going down, your 10% margin is disappearing. So you need to keep it at 10%. So you'll need more money in it because you're in it at 10%. Well, let's say you're controlling 100,000 with 10,000 at 90, and now it's down to 85. Wait a minute, your margin's not 10% anymore because it's not worth 100,000. It's now worth 90,000. So you've got to increase your margin. And if you can't, then they sell your position, which means the price will go down because they're selling. So they're forcing sells with these margin calls, which makes it go down. And then right now, you probably got algorithms kicking in, which I don't understand algorithms. They're just formulas. They're not, if this does this, I'm going to drop it, which I don't understand. And, but again, we just saw it go to 75, and then we saw it jump back up to 92. So it's not going to stay long. That's why we don't look at the short term, day by day picture. We look at the long run that we know gold and silver there. We just right now, this is the US going broke. They're going to wars to try to steal gold, diamonds, and gas and oil from these countries, Venezuela and Iran has a lot of oil. That's what they're trying to do. That's why there's all these wars. Ukraine, they wanted the natural resources. They wanted the oil and the gold. But Russia's beating them there and says you can't have it. So the U.S. is taking their ball and going home. It's the U.S. against Russia. It's the strangest war because there's no U.S. soldiers fighting it. It's the Ukrainians. Zelensky's selling his soul. Well, you can you kill my guys. That's okay. So there's 2 million dead Ukrainians. Kill my guys. That's fine. As long as I get $1 billion. And Zelensky's made $1 billion. He stole $1 billion. So he's fine. And the U.S. didn't get any oil or that because we're broke, because we owe 39 trillion that we can't pay back. And nobody wants Bitcoin and nobody wants stable coin and nobody wants dollars. So to pay back your loan, you're going to have to give us gold and silver. And that might be one of the reasons they're pushing the price down so they can buy more cheaper. That would be the only thing I can come up with. Normally, putting the price down creates putting the price down is really creating buying opportunities. Well, I want to buy an ounce of silver and it's $90, but I don't want to pay 90. I want to pay 80. But in the real market, you can't even find it. So again, this is all fantasy. 80, $85 silver is fantasy. Now at my guy's store, I'm going to go to my guy's store after. Probably I could get it at spot. He's been okay at that. But most of the others, you can't. I mean, unless you can find a store that says, oh, whatever spot is, we'll take it. That's fine. And I'm going to check to see if he's still selling at spot, still buying at spot. That's what we'll see. But otherwise, this is all fantasy land. No. Nobody who has gold and silver is selling it at 85. I certainly am not. I wouldn't sell it at 185. An ounce or two if I need it. But that's what's happening here. This is all fantasy land. This isn't real. This price isn't even real. It's a paper price. It's not a physical price. So keep your mind in the physical game, not the paper game. In the paper game, we don't give a fuck what they do. But it's really not, I don't know what it is in China. Let's see if we can get a Chinese price today. Silver price in China today. So there you go. Silver price in China today, February 4th, $105. Or here it's this is silver. Here it's down to 85. But this is more of a physical price. But even this price is a joke. It's not a real price. Let's see what gold price in China is. 51.11 US dollars per ounce in China. So this is the real, this isn't even a real physical price, but it's more of a real price than what we're looking at. So COMEX is just, COMEX is here, China's here. Well, so if you can buy on COMEX, fine, but nobody's going to sell on COMEX. So I don't really, this is more the banks getting out of it, more margin calls to lower the price. I assume so the U.S. can buy more gold and silver because we don't have any. If we had 1 ounce in your Fort Knox, where is it? And if they did, and they wanted to pay the debt down to $39 trillion, they would raise the price of gold to 100,000, and we got 20 ounces, and we start paying off our debt that way. This is made so people can buy it here, but the problem is there isn't any demand. So again, this is so the banks don't lose on their options that will expire and that people can buy them cheaper if they can find a supply of it, which they can. So this whole thing makes zero sense. It's got to be more margin calls and more people getting out of their options so they don't go bankrupt more than a buying opportunity or a real price. TK, what you like for props for NFL? I told you I don't do props, so don't ask me those questions. So with that's what's happening. You've got to realize Comex is a bullshit Ponzi scheme paper market. It's not real. Nothing in Comex is real. It's manipulated by JP Morgan and the other 8 billion banks, HSBC, Toronto Dominion, and they've been shorting it for 50 years to keep the price down. So they have a lot of shorts they're trying to get rid of before they go bankrupt. Well, guess what? You're going bankrupt anyway, banks, because people aren't going to pay their mortgages, people aren't going to pay their car payments, and the commercial real estate big buildings aren't going to pay. And you see, if you drive by, you see these strip malls closing, or some of these stores at the strip mall closing. So the banks are screwed. It's just like Vegas. The casinos are screwed because nobody's going and they don't have revenue coming in and they can't pay their loan. They got their monthly loans, which they can't pay because they don't have any they don't have any customers. So, just like us, if we own the ice cream store, right? And we owe $10,000 rent a month and we're not getting customers in, AKA Vegas. Then we walk away and don't pay. And we say, well, I can't pay your rent. I don't have any customers. I'm closing. And the bank loses because the bank's counting on my $10,000 a month to survive times all the people they've loaned money to. And if we can't pay them back, the bank goes out of business. So it's something like that happening. So logic says they're trying to get out of their options again, even though we thought they all got out of it. Maybe there's a reason they couldn't all get out of it. And then it's just simply people wanting to buy cheap. And it's obviously margin call, and it's analytics or algorithms selling, because analytics or algorithms are stupid. What can I tell you? I don't trust them. I think they're terrible in football. Go for it on fourth down. Yeah, that works a lot. Well, to me, they didn't have a Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl was flag football. I mean, it's like uh, having a golf all-star and they're playing tennis. I mean, who are they kidding? Oh, the players don't want to get hurt and they don't want to play. Well, fuck them then. Then you can't have a Pro Bowl. But that's it. So, John C., you want to keep getting away from gold and silver for some reason, but I'm not finished there yet. So that's what we have with that. That's why I got on at 11 o'clock. Say, hey, look, we're back at 90 and 5,000. And again, notice how the U.S. waited till 10:15 when they come on, and the Asians are sleeping and the euros are finishing. U.S. comes in and then China buys it back. So it's just it shows you it's broke. The system's broke. The U.S. is what this tells you is the U.S. is broke, basically, and they're just firing their shots out of desperation. I don't know why. This is why you don't sell your gold and silver and you don't worry about the price. You hold it and you just kind of laugh, going, well, I'll just wait till the price goes up. We just watched it go from 75 back to 90, and we watched gold go from 4,400 back to 5,100. So, okay, they're going to do this every week. They're going to keep doing margin calls and shorting it, and then it's going to keep getting bought. So it's a very strange game the U.S. is playing. They're printing money they don't have that's worthless. How long is that going to keep going? They do owe debt on this money. So when they do their shorts, people are going to ask for delivery on the gold and silver they're shorting. And, okay, the margin calls, I'm not sure how that works because then you're just getting out of position. So I don't know if you ask for delivery on those or they just go off the books. I didn't think there'd be too many more people in it after last week, but okay. So this is all option. This is all paper bullshit, right? So we understand that. Let's take a look and see if the bleeding is still going on. Okay, it stopped. Silver went back to 85.22. Gold's back to 48.94. So it's had its little fun and now it's starting to go back up. So this is why you don't panic. The goal that we're playing is you own physical and you ignore this Ponzi scheme that's happening. You don't sell it. Now, I was watching some guys on YouTube, and the guy who owned the gold store, everybody was coming in and selling their silver. Well, these are people that are idiots that don't know what they're doing. Why are you selling based on paper options? Why would you sell your physical? It's going to go to zero. Do you understand what BRICS is? Apparently, you don't. So that's why you own the physical, and you don't worry about this paper bullshit option play. I mean, this is just bullshit. You can't worry about it. There's nothing it's not even physical selling. It doesn't control the value. They're using COMEX to price it. I have no idea why. There's no reason for it. There should be a physical market and a paper market. You guys want to do options and derivatives, you're over here. Our physical price is up to, $6,000 gold and $150 silver. So why is the options, because people need to get out of their options, affecting the physical price? So there needs to be two separate, there needs to be a physical market price and thing, just like this. So if I went and bought Canadian Club, as I like using this, and I used to work there, and it was $100. Well, I don't want some guy coming with an option saying this is worth $5. No. I'm selling it for 100. I'm not selling it for 5. Well, they're doing options on it. Well, they can do options in their own market. I'm selling it for 100. Just like this, I'm selling this for 500 an ounce, and this is 2 ounces, so I'll sell it for 1,000. That's what I'm selling it for. I'm not selling it at 85 or whatever this bullshit is. But we'll see China raise it up. I see a lot of people selling it. A guy said more people are selling it more than buying it at his store. Yeah, these are people that don't know. As I'm saying, if you understand what we're doing, which we understand what we're doing, you're not panic selling it. That's part of what they're trying to do. See, the government really can't control gold or silver. So if we own gold or silver, we don't pay taxes on it as we would interest income as a dividend, right? If this goes from $100 to 200, we don't pay a nickel in tax as long as we still have it. And the government needs its taxes. So they're trying to get you out of your gold and silver. And then JP Morgan can buy more physical, and the government can get taxes when you're in the stock market and you get dividends. They tax you. If your money's in the bank, you get interest income. They tax you. There's no tax on gold and silver, not just for owning it. They want you to pay tax when you sell it, but that's only if you get a 1099 and you sell a lot. So if you only sell an ounce or two, you're not paying tax. You're not paying, there's no 1099 for 1 or 2 ounces. So you're not paying a tax on it. So that's out of the loop of the government. And they need all the money they can get because these idiots have put us in a $39 trillion debt, which is growing every month because they can't afford the employees. They can't afford the interest on the debt. They can't afford the Social Security and Medicare, which we put into it. So they can't give me my own money back because they've spent it all. It's just a joke, right? It's a stupid, terrible joke, terribly mismanaged. but they'll blame everybody but themselves. And they start, oh, we're going to tax you this. And you're not taxing me. This is dollars. I traded $1 for a piece of metal. And if the metal goes up in value, I'm not paying tax. Oh, I should pay tax on it. Oh, it's a capital gain. No, it's money. It's not a stock. It's not a capital gain. Um, so it's as simple as that. Now, if I sell a Mantle card for 100,000, then that would be a capital gain. But I'd have to, unless I sold it privately, if I sold it on eBay, then eBay is going to give me a 1099, and then I have to pay that. But if it's, if I sell it to you, we got a Mantle collector here, and I got the Mantle card, and you pay me off to the side. There's no tax for either of us. But that's why they're doing it, is because they're broke. Everything they're doing now is because the U.S. is broke. The money's worthless. The government is already shut down. It's broke. I'll still get my Social Security, even though the government shut down. You still get this stuff like Social Security still flows. Like when it was shut down before, I still got my Social Security. That's just like on automatic pilot. Like, okay, Howard gets so much every month. Oh, it's the second Monday of the month. He gets it. So that's last time I didn't have a problem, and I'm hopefully not expecting a problem. I should get it next Monday. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. So this is just a Ponzi scheme. So understand what the game is. It's a Ponzi scheme, and that's it. So anyway, let's go to the Super Bowl. So who wins the Super Bowl? The team with the best quarterback and the team with the best defense. Normally, we got Seattle still 4.5, 45.5. That hasn't moved. It's on 6:30 on NBC Sunday. I love when they like how to watch it. Now I believe the game starts at 6:30, maybe 6:40. And it'll be loaded with commercials. So, have another movie on in the background that you can switch to once the Super Bowl is on. So we have that. Again, my free play is go under in the game. I think it'll be low scoring. New England shows a good defense, doesn't have a quarterback, doesn't really have running and receivers. So their offense is pretty weak, but their defense, their scheme's pretty good. And then you got Seattle with a very good defense, kind of a weak quarterback, good running, good receiving, and a very good defense. I don't know about the coach. So that's what you have. So it tends to be you need a good quarterback to get points. A Tom Brady, a Mahomes. That's really where you get your points from. And you're not going to get that with Darnold, and you're not going to get that with Drake May. Drake May, you're not going to get anything with. He can't throw the ball. So a lot of that is what is the way to look at it. And they have good defenses. And the coaches tend to tighten up. Let's not make any mistakes. So they're not. I think you'll see a lot less go for fourth downs at midfield. And if they go for fourth downs at the 15-yard line, the other team's 15, instead of kicking field goals, they'll be the loser of the game. I don't know why they feel they have to go. I guess it's just like the algorithms in the gold and silver in the stock market. Let's see where the stock market's at today. Are they getting a bloodbath too? See, the stock market is up $252. Does that make any sense? So we're killing gold and silver, but the stock market's up. Yeah, doesn't make any sense at all. So that's how you look at it. When the defenses will probably keep you out of the end zone, so there'll be more field goals. My score is 30-10 New England, I keep saying that 30-10 Seattle, maybe more 23-10, 23-13 Seattle. Seattle wins. the better running and passing attack, and they have the better defense. The quarterbacks are even. Darnell, I'm sure he'll choke. Drake May's injured, but he's saying, "Oh, I'm fine." No, he's injured, so I don't see him. He's not going to play as good because he is injured, even though he can say, "Oh, I'm fine." He's not. You hurt his shoulder in the Denver game. So he can say yes, no, or whatever, but it's still hurt. It's still injured. I'm sure he'll take the needle because it's the Super Bowl, but it's still hurt. He's not that good of a quarterback. He's a good of a running back. But here's where all the propaganda come in, where they say, "Oh, he's up there for the MVP." Why? Why is Drake May up for the MVP? He ran for a lot of yards. He didn't throw for shit. So I don't get why he'd be up for the MVP. Stafford's clearly the better quarterback and clearly the MVP of the league. Drake May's not even in the discussion. Again, they want the running quarterback. The league's kind of like, they said they didn't like there wasn't enough racial jobs going to the coaches. You want the best player. These are owners paying billions of dollars. They want the best guy for the job. They don't care if he's white, blue, black, or green. If he's a good coach, they want him. But to make them hire black, blue, green, or red coaches is ridiculous. That the owner should be able to hire, just like at a company. GM Ford hires the best person. And if you gotta get a person in that way, then you're really killing the sport. And that's why you got so many coaches getting fired every year, because you're putting in people that aren't good coaches. They're not capable. So they lose, and the owner fires them. So keep going with the blue, green, red, and yellows, and see what happens. Right. So it's just a matter of, I want the best coach. But that's what you have here. So I don't get why Drake May. I never got how Lamar won the MVP. I don't know why Drake May's considered better than Josh Allen. They had the weakest schedule in the world, and he did okay with it, beating the Jets in Miami twice. That makes him the MVP. Darnold at least beat the Rams three times. No, he beat them twice, lost once, and beat the Niners twice. And the Niners were, like I said, they were scoring. They put up 40-some points in that Bear game. It went to 80-something. And then Seattle plays them to a 13-3. And then Seattle beats them 41-6. So, Seattle is much the better team here. So I have no thought of taking New England in 10.5. But I do play the under because New England doesn't have much of an offense, and they got a very good defense. So they should hold that. Darnold, he'll choke a little bit. I think New England will try to get pressure up the middle, and Darnold will start choking again because he still doesn't know how to read it. I showed you that Tom Brady video, but I think it's a problem for me to show it. But he basically said quarterbacks now can't read defenses. They don't know what they're looking for. They don't get out of bad plays. So he said, I'd see the safety on the right side. I'm going to run to the right. I have to change the play to the left or throw it. But they don't do that now. These quarterbacks don't know how to read defenses. They don't know how to get out of plays. They don't know what they're doing. When the pressure comes, they scramble. I mean, that's the quarterback now. None of them are any good except Burrow and Mahomes and Stafford, Aaron Rodgers. That's it. That's the very slim. Josh Allen's okay. Not great, but he's okay. He does seem to get you points when you need it, but it's his turnovers that keep losing these games, like the Denver game. Bo Nix, he's getting better. I think Bo Nix knows how to read them. But most quarterbacks don't. That's why you see such bad quarterback play and so many turnovers. John C. Was Drake May good in college? No, he wasn't. I never heard of him in college. I go through my quarterbacks as I do every year, and I list them out. And I didn't think he was all that he should have been the third pick in the draft. And I don't think he's all that now. I looked at Mendoza when he was at Cal. So this year he's at Indy, and then the year before he was at Cal, and then he transferred to Indy. He was 16 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He was a nobody there. So he got into a good program where they can run the ball and have a good defense. And he still threw a few interceptions, but he's not a number one pick. He's not going to change the Raiders. He's not Ken Stabler. I think I would go after Reuben Bain because he's a great defensive tackle before I would go after Drake or go after Mendoza as the quarterback. The only quarterback I see in this draft is Pavia, Sawyer Robertson from Baylor. There was a few others that I had mentioned that are even worth anything in the draft. All right. John, I'm kind of ignoring some of your comments because they don't make any sense. So that's really the point is you've got to, you got to see how Super Bowls are won. See how what happens is the teams get better in the playoffs. The defenses, usually the good defenses are better. So you need the good quarterback to handle it. And what you've got was with New England, Drake May has not handled you got very decent against Houston. You got a lot of interceptions by CJ Stroud, who fell apart. And then against Denver, he did nothing. So against two defenses, he didn't show up. Where Darnell did show up against San Francisco, and the Rams had a pretty weak defense, but he did show up in that game. So Darnell of the two is showing up playing the better teams, the Niners twice, the Rams twice in the last 5 or 6 weeks. So he is starting to win. He is showing up. So I think he's a little bit better, but I think it's all Walker, Michigan State, who is the reason Seattle is Seattle. And he didn't have that with Minnesota. The reason he choked at Minnesota, he didn't have a running attack. Seattle, he does. So Seattle's kind of going, yeah, we know he chokes. We know he stinks, but we're going to run the ball more and then take that away from him. And that's really what he's doing. But that's your Super Bowl. So, again, it'll be a hard-fought defensive game. You get a little bit of offense. I'm giving maybe Seattle doesn't get 30 points. Maybe they get 23. Maybe it's 23-13, as I said. The more I'm thinking about Darnell, I don't think he scores. But again, we're looking at the Niner game and the Ram game going, yeah, this guy put up 41 on a good Niner team and 31 on a good Ram team. So that's where I'm getting my higher score, 30. But the more I think about it, maybe 24, 27. And then they'll give up 10. Very strong defense, Seattle. That's why I like to bet. They have a better defense. And the game's in San Francisco, so the weather won't be a factor. But Drake May just wants to run, and I'm sure they'll take that away from him. And he can only run inside the 40. When he gets maybe to the 35, then it becomes a condensed field, and it's really hard to run, and he's not a good thrower. So I don't buy Drake Mays all that. He's the MVP of the league. What league is that? The Flag Football League? He wasn't even the player of the year in the ACC 2 years ago. So I'm not buying any of that shit. Vrabel, I don't know. He was a good coach. He wasn't a good coach at Tennessee. So I don't know what to say about that. He was pretty good when they had Henry and they had some defense. They had a decent team, but that was 5 years ago. Last few years, Tennessee sucked. Then he goes to New England, and he has a pretty good defense. That's about all I'll say. The running backs are weak. The receivers are Bote from LSU, so we like him. But I'm not sold on Drake May can read a defense. So that's kind of the point. Anyway, so I'm critiquing the movie Titanic. I was watching, it came up on on Netflix, so I didn't have to waste time with commercials. And I really don't like the movie. I like the premise that the boat sinks because the iceberg hits it, and you got to get on the lifeboat and go buy gold and silver. That's the premise I take from the Titanic. The movie itself, I thought was terrible. I thought they should have had more. They introduced the Guggenheimers, who were really rich. And the reason the boat sunk was because of the Federal Reserve, because this was 1912, 1913. And they didn't want the Federal Reserve, so they sunk the ship. So it was a demolition thing, like 9/11. It was done on purpose. Um, they didn't have, that's why they didn't have binoculars, because the guy took them, so they couldn't see the iceberg. And it looked like they tried. And then the one ship to California and was an hour away, didn't answer because they weren't supposed to. But I would have preferred they got into that part of it than the bullshit. I'm not a big Leonardo DiCaprio guy. I think he's terrible in Wolf on Wall Street, and I think he's terrible in this. And just like kind of analyzing the story, you're like, this is the stupidest story I've ever heard. The lady's 200 years old, hears that this thing's going on, and she says, oh, that's me in the painting. And and then she calls him and goes on the boat and tells her story. This is what you came up with? That was ridiculous. That was such a stupid story. So it's really about her story. Who gives a fuck? We don't know who this lady is. We don't care about the lady. We certainly Leonardo DiCaprio. He's the savior. He's a fucking bum. He's not a savior of Rome. He's a bum that is a little. He's a little con guy. I mean, what am I watching this for? Why she's gonna leave? Back then, you would never leave a guy who's rich for a bum. What are you kidding me? Well, he was sweet. He did this and that. That's bullshit. I feel trapped. Bullshit. The whole movie's bullshit. The whole thought process, the whole story, I thought was terrible. I thought it went in the whole bad direction. The guy, finds it at the bottom of the ocean, and he's trying to steal the diamond. Then it was frustrating at the end when the lady had the diamond and didn't give it to him. Oh, I'll throw it in the water. Well, why not give it to him? Get a reward for it. Give it to your granddaughter. Let her have a reward for having it instead of throwing it in the ocean. What good did that do? That was stupid. I saw an alternate ending when she actually gives him the diamond, which would have been much better than this bullshit ending. But I just thought the whole storyline, the guy from Back to the Future, Jack the Ripper's in it as the guy's henchman. What was all that about? The guy from Back to the Future. Go back to Back to the Future. That's about all you're not a lead character. And the girl, I thought, and the mother, I thought was terrible. And I thought a lot of the actors were bad. The guy at the end's fixing the clock. The ship's sinking. You're really fixing the clock. It was just ridiculous. The whole premise, not enough lifeboats, I thought was ridiculous. So a lot of the premise was bad, but they never got into the fact that it was sunk on purpose, which should have been more in the movie, in the storyline. Then it's about this girl, and she leaves the rich guy, and she finds the diamond, and he's stupid enough to give her the coat as she's with the other guy. Yeah, I'm going to give my coat with the diamond in it, and he wouldn't remember that. Yeah, I didn't buy any of that. Thought it was a very bad story. All I wanted to see was the Titanic hit the iceberg, and everybody finally panic at the end because that's what's going to happen in gold and silver. So I could relate to that part. The rest of the story I thought was terrible. The whole thing, I guess because I don't really like Leonardo DiCaprio or the girl. I really don't like them. I think they're bad actors. So I'm really, it's like, I was more saying this is stupid than I was saying, well, that makes sense. Or I could see that happening. I couldn't see any of it happening. That this con man gets in with the rich crowd. Okay, that is not happening. And he saved her. The girl's not going to go and going to jump off the boat. because she's going to be rich. Not in 1900s. No, that's not going to happen. That's maybe today, but even then, no girl is going to leave the gold digger and jump off for a bum because, as I said, women aren't that way. Women want to be protected and have safety and are more apt to go to the guy with money and leave the guy who's nice to her. That's what women do. That's why women leave you. They find somebody who can take care of them better, who has more money and they can feel safer with. It's about feeling safe. So if she didn't feel safe with the rich guy, she's not going to feel safe with the con man. And just the whole thing, I thought I didn't like the Leonardo DiCaprio uh, uh, not victim, but that whole persona. I didn't like that character. That's what I was thinking of. So I didn't like the character at all. Thought it was stupid. And the movie, everybody sinks. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're on a boat headed that they're going to try to sink because of but it was because, see, if you bring in the Federal Reserve that Guggenheim was on and Levi Strauss was on, and these guys were on the boat and they're trying to sink the boat and make it into that kind of movie, then it would have made more sense why it sunk. Right now, it's like, how the hell didn't they see the iceberg? And how the hell didn't they put up the blockage of water? Why would it only be after 4? So he says, well, if we would have closed it after 4, it would have been fine, but not after 5. Why wouldn't you make it so all 8 would? Why would you make it like that? That there would have to be 5 up there. What do you think of that submarine who went to see the Titanic and the submarine exploded? Well, I don't know. I didn't think much of it. Why was it exploded? The Titanic was it on purpose. The Titanic was sunk on purpose, just like 9/11 was on purpose. Yeah, it was because of the Federal Reserve, because who was on it? It's sort of like when a plane gets shot down because there's an important member of the bank or Federal Reserve on the plane. They shoot the plane down. And they go, I don't know, I just had a bomb went off or something went off in the airplane. It was to kill a specific person. This was to kill Guggenheim, Strauss, and a few other rich guys who were on the boat. Also, I heard there's insurance that the boat company was bankrupt and needed the accident to collect on the insurance. So if it's hit by an iceberg, they collect. Now, the other part, it was on fire before it even left the dock. The far side of the Titanic was on fire. So they were trying to burn it down. They were trying to sink it. So, ooh, there's no binoculars. And ooh, we just happened to run into an iceberg. Like, oh, really? We're this stupid? So the captain, let's speed up. That whole thing made no sense that the captain would speed up, that the owner would want to get there early and show them. That was all bullshit. The owner's just trying to get there. They have to know there's icebergs, and they're getting reports there's icebergs. So why am I speeding up? If I really have an asset like that, I'm going, let's slow down. Let's get through these icebergs so we don't hit it. That's what I would have done. I would not have sped up. Like, let's make time. Well, once we get through the icebergs, we'll speed up. How about that? So, I thought that whole thing was stupid. That whole thing with the guy from Back to the Future, I thought was stupid. Jack the Ripper shooting him, tying him up into the thing with handcuffs, I thought was stupid. His henchman was Jack the Ripper in another movie. That's why I say Jack the Ripper. Just like I say the other guys, Back to the Future, he's one of the 3 idiots with Biff in the 3D in the first movie. So, yeah, these guys, really weak actors. Really, the way they did it, the plot made no sense. Why is she leaving the guy? I mean, for Jack. Who's Jack? He's a scumbag. He's a con man. Why would this rich girl leave for him? It made he was no prize. He was a loser, Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Why would any girl leave for him? Oh, I was going to jump off the boat and he saved me. Yeah, I don't think so. Why are you going to jump off the boat? Get to New York and go spend your money and go cheat on him. I mean, that's what most girls would do, right? So I just thought that the characters made no sense. The storyline made no sense except for the ship sinking, which we knew it had. They were on the bottom, that they're looking for the diamond, and they wouldn't have made a deal. Okay, I have the diamond. How much are you going to give me for the diamond? And give it to my granddaughter who's here. She'll take the money because I'm 105 years old. Why you wouldn't do that is beyond me. Uh, why the guy's looking for the diamond there when it was pawned by some guy, so the Back to the Future guy had an insurance claim on it. They mentioned in 1915 or whatever. So if there was already an insurance claim on it, why are you looking for it there? Why would you think it's even on the ship? So you're wasting all your time that it's on the ship and it's never on the ship. Why didn't you just run an ad? Anybody knowing anything about this diamond, contact me and there'll be a big reward. And then the lady would have saw it and got the reward and gave it to her granddaughter, and that would have been it. Why would she throw it back into the lake? That makes no sense. But that's where you're at. So I didn't like the storyline, made no sense. Her whole story made no sense. The actors were terrible in the movie. I thought the mother was a bitch. I didn't understand her role. I didn't understand the Kate Winslet. I didn't understand her at all. And obviously Leonardo, I don't like anyway, but I didn't like him in Wolf on Wall Street. I thought it was stupid. Let's do drugs and have sex. Oh yeah, great movie. So I didn't get him at all. I'm a loser, but I get the girl, and the girl loves me. And uh, you know, uh, he should have been smart enough to get on a lifeboat with her, so they wouldn't have to freeze in the water. Um, and it wasn't women and children first; it was women and children and men. It was never, the order was not to disallow men on the lifeboats. It was women and children first, but still men. Like they weren't trying to separate the husband or the father from the kids. That wasn't what this whole thing was. But I thought, I thought it was a bad thing. I just thought it was a stupid movie, right? And again, I'm looking at it stoically, and I go, nobody would do this. The girl would never leave for the guy. The girl wouldn't be with the guy in the first place if it was like that. She'd have told him to fuck off. So if I'm stoic and I'm the guy with the diamond and I'm with Kate and she doesn't like me, I tell her to fuck off. I'll go find somebody else because I'm rich and I can get whoever. I mean, that was the whole point. He's with the girl who doesn't like him. Or I guess he had to get married to get a fortune or something. Why choose her? I didn't understand that. Anyway, that was my concept of the movie. I thought it was terrible. I thought they should have went to the Federal Reserve. They should have went to these bankers planning to blow it up or destroy it, showing the guy take the binoculars, all these other guys in on it going, yeah, we'll let it hit the iceberg. That's how they should have played the movie. And that would have been, much more like Money Heist, where there's plans and it's burning and the bankers going, wow, we're gonna let it hit an iceberg and it's gonna collapse. That's how you should have played the movie. That's how I would have played it, not this whole bullshit with this loser and the girl who's running away from a rich guy with the big diamond. Yeah, probably didn't buy it, didn't like it. But that's me lately. I watch movies I can't. I used to like. I don't like them anymore. I can barely watch The Sting anymore. I don't like Paul Newman anymore. Watching that other movie, the Steve McQueen movie, the poker movie. God, my mind's going, isn't it? What's the poker movie with Steve McQueen? Anyway, I really didn't like that. It was a cooler. He had a full house. The other guy has a straight flush, should never have been in the hand. You want me to believe that he's a good player when he stays in for try to get a straight flush? I didn't buy that at all, but you can't found Steve McQueen. He got a full house. Now, what should have happened? Steve McQueen should have let the guy kept dealing from the bottom and giving him good hands so he wouldn't have lost. That's how I would have played it. If my friend's the dealer and he's dealing me all these cards, thank you very much. I'm in it to win. I don't care. Oh, I'm going to do it on my own because of the same thing. Like I say all the time in poker, I get dealt pocket aces. The guy has a pair of sevens and he catches a seven on the flop. And now he's got a set of sevens. I got aces. I get fucked. I'd rather have a dealer not give him the set of sevens and I win than I win on my own. I mean, that's just bullshit. The Cincinnati Kid. I don't know what my brain sometimes washes out. But anyway, uh, you know, I liked the movie before because you like Steve McQueen and Anne Margaret and everything. And now when I watch it, I get disappointed in the ending of it. Watching Rounders, another bad poker. That's the worst poker movie I've ever seen. They get everything wrong in the movie. He says, I got outplayed. I didn't, when the guy in the beginning gets the full house, aces full, and he's got the full house, nines full, you didn't get outplayed. You got bad luck. Your full house didn't beat his. That's not being outplayed. Outplayed's when he bluffs you. He didn't bluff you. You didn't recognize his checking, and you didn't recognize his Oreo cookings. Shame on you. And then in the end of the movie, even that was more of just another bad beat. Most of these movies are a full house to four of a kind, and it's like, well, that was just a bad beat. You couldn't have folded. You made the exact right bet that you made, and that's basically what you should have done. But Rounders, everything he says is wrong. He makes comments as he's going, and they're all wrong. They're all like, no, that's not. If you have somebody's tell, why would you tell them? So if I'm playing with Doyle Brunson and he's eating Oreo cookies when he's got a full house, and I'm in and I see he eats an Oreo cookie, I fold. And if he doesn't eat an Oreo cookie, I raise him because I know he's only eating the Oreo cookies when he's got a good hand. Why would I tell him that? To put him on tilt? Why would I put him on tilt? It's perfect. I got his tell. I'm never telling him his tell. Like I say, the tell about the on the river when it's your head's up and the guy checks, and then you've got a decent hand and you bet. Well, he's not checking unless he's got nothing. He's not got a flush and he's going to check it. He's going to bet. He gets a set. He's betting. He gets a pair. He's betting. He's always betting if he has a hand because human nature says, I'm going to bet the river because I want to win money. And if I don't bet and he doesn't bet, I win nothing. So, of course, I'm betting. So he checks and I bet and he check raises me on the river after checking. I know it's a bluff 100% of the time. I'm not going to tell that tell. I tell you guys because this is class, but I'm not going to be at the table and say, yeah, I knew you had nothing because you checked the river. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to tell him it's not even his tell. It's just the normal tell. Why would I tell anybody that tell at the table or the look up at the TV? That's my second tell. So I'm playing with the guy and he's watching the TV. He doesn't care about me. He's watching the TV. And if he's watching the TV, he's got a full house or he's got a big hand because he doesn't even care what I do. He's not the least bit interested in me because he's got my ass. And then I know that's the second tell. That's if he's not into, like, if the guy's kind of nervous and doesn't want to look at you and he's quiet, yeah, he's probably bluffing. But if I'm sitting back and watching the ball game like this, waiting for your call because I know I got you beat, I'm not even concerned about you at all. He's got a good hand. That's the second tell. But I'm not going to tell him that. Oh, I knew you had a hand. You were watching the TV. I mean, you don't say that because then will bluff you by watching the TV. Because now, I told my tell is they watch the TV, they got a hand. So now I'm going to bluff Howard. I'm going to look at the TV. He's going to think I got a hand, and So you would never tell these tells out. You would just keep them. Uh, have I ever seen Color of Money? Yeah, I didn't like that at all either. Why was it exploded, the Titanic? Was it on purpose? The Titanic sunk. It wasn't exploded. The Cooler is good too. Uh, the Color of Money. Again, I have a hard time watching Paul Newman now, but I thought the whole story. I liked the beginning when he's the protege and he's picking it up from the hustler in the 1960s with Jackie Gleason, and he's this hustler, but then he gets kicked out and he can't shoot or they're going to kill him. He can't play anymore. So why all of a sudden can he play? Especially in Atlantic City, nobody's going to see him there. That's how the movie should have ended, where the mafia is there and the guy's like, "You're coming with us. We told you you can't play anymore," and break his arms or something, or break his wrist. That should have happened there if you're paralleling it. But why did he give up on the guy? So he's teaching him. I never understood we're gonna dump to the one guy where Tom Cruise could have beat him easily, and we're going to lose big time to this guy. I never understood the analyzing that made no sense. Nobody knows you, uh, so is he dumping? So when they get to Atlantic City, they're going to know he's a nobody. Then why play him? Why dump to him? Nobody's going to know Tom Cruise from the hole in the wall. And if you know the guy who's really good, there's no point in playing him. There's no point in dumping to him. Oh, so we'll be a nobody. Well, if you don't play him, you're still a nobody. So why play him? And if you beat him, then everybody's going to know you. So there's no advantage of playing the guy. But then I didn't like how Paul Newman then stopped helping him. Well, wait, you've got me to go on the road. You're going to teach me all these con moves and all that, and now all of a sudden you're leaving me. Well, I taught you everything, and no, that didn't make sense. You were a team. What are you talking? Where are you going? You're just starting to make money. He's starting to learn. I didn't get Tom Cruise not listening to him. That made no sense either. But then when you got to Atlantic City, uh, whatever. Why would anybody want? Why would you win one game there? Tom Cruise should have just lost and then go played in the green room and won all the money behind when nobody would have known who he is. He plays some guy and nobody knows who he is. If you win the tournament, everybody knows who you are. So you don't even you play. I don't even know if you play in the tournament. You just play all the side games. Yeah, my name's Johnny. Yeah, I like. Oh, how do you hold a pool cue and then go beat him? And he gets odds because he's a nobody. Well, then why even play in the tournament? The whole thing made no sense. Then Paul Newman's mad at him, made no sense. And Paul Newman left him, made no sense. Nothing in that movie made any sense except for Paul Newman not even teaching him, just kind of showing him how to hustle, which either he could have done in one afternoon. Here's some tricks. I teach you how to bet football games or play poker or whatever. I teach it to you in 2 hours, but why go on the road trip with them and why do all that made really no sense. That's how I watched the movie, right? At first it was cool. You're watching pool and it's a good movie, but then it became really stupid. Uh, you can go to go to the other movie he did, Risky Business, and you didn't understand like when they stole all the stuff from him when he's on the train after the orgy when all the girls are there and they're making all the money. Uh, why Tom Cruise wouldn't have locked his house up and not let the guy steal all the furniture, or why he didn't call the police and say this guy stole my furniture. And when mom and dad come home and say, hey, these guys stole all my furniture. I don't know who they are. What are they going to say? Yeah, we hustled him and we scammed him and all that to steal his furniture, and then he paid all the money. I don't know why he didn't call the police, and I don't know why he left the doors open to get him and his friend, that one bulky guy, why he, he was responsible to lock the house up. And if I'm going on the train with the girl, okay, everybody out, we're locking the house. I'm not leaving the house open. Goodbye. Or tell her, after, okay, when everybody's through, we'll go on the train. I thought that was extremely stupid. And then he comes home, there's nothing there. Well, yeah, idiot. What are you doing? Um, and then it's the parents coming home and he's got to get it and all that stuff. It was just, like, why would anybody be that stupid? He's clever enough to have the orgy. Then why leave the door open so the mafia could steal all his furniture? Why would they even steal the furniture? Say, look, we want all your money, or we're going to tell somebody. We'll tell your parents, because obviously that's what he was worried about. So why go through the exercise of moving everything? They have him buy it back and just say, I want to steal his money, because obviously didn't take it. I don't know. Stuff like that. Cart, you're still worried? It's at 84 now. Will it go up till tonight? I don't know, Cart. I don't know what COMEX is doing. As I tell you, it will go up. I don't know day by day, minute by minute, but it'll go back into the hundreds. Anyway, you can't ask me what silver's going to be at in 5 minutes. I don't know. If it's 84 now, okay. It was all the way back to 92 this morning. Again, they're playing this option game. Okay, fine. But we know it'll be back, and you don't watch it. I don't know why you watch it every 5 minutes. Just let it go. Just buy the freaking physical. That's all you should be having. I have the physical. I don't look at COMEX minute by minute. I check it at the end of the day, what's going on. I stay away at 10 o'clock because I know it's going to drop. So if I do anything, I watch it. I wake up about 8:30, 9 o'clock, what's it at? And then I know at 10 o'clock it's dropping. And then usually at 10:30, 11, it goes back up. But on days like today, I'm not worried about it now, and I'm not paying. The key is you own the physical. That's the key. That's all you're concerned about. Anyway, so these movies where you like watching a movie about pool, but then when you start watching, it doesn't make sense. You liked watching Tom Cruise in Risky Business with the prostitutes, but it really didn't make sense. Even putting the car in the Lake Michigan, and then he needed money, so he'd have the orgy. I'm sure she could have got away to just say, hey, why don't we she did ask, can we get our friends together? And he says, no. And then she forced that issue. So again, why didn't he just say, yeah, and if he wanted to make that kind of money, why didn't he just say, yeah, that's a good idea. I have a lot of friends who have money and you have a lot of hot girls. We'll get it together. And everything would have been fine. So I don't know why, they had to be persuaded. She had to go on the train, so they could steal everything. I probably would have said, hey, let's go back up to the bedroom and do our thing, versus going on a train. Or, we'll go on a train tomorrow. My parents will be home. I want to get out, So a lot of that didn't make sense. The Titanic didn't make sense. It should have been about JP Morgan and trying to come up with the Federal Reserve and sinking the Titanic because of the people on there, so they wouldn't vote in the Federal Reserve. They were against the Federal Reserve, and we wouldn't have the Federal Reserve. And all this crap that it's given us as it's bankrupt the country goes all the way back to JP Morgan and the Federal Reserve. And that's why we have income tax, and that's why we are broke, because these idiots keep printing money. So again, why they're shorting it, I have no idea. It makes no sense today, unless it's to buy it cheaper and for them to get out of more options and probably more margin calls. So it's getting boring and tiring. We're doing margin calls every day. And who's still in fucking margin calls? You've got to be an idiot just sell your position oh, I got to do a margin call tomorrow. We'll do a margin call on Thursday. We'll do a margin call on Friday. It's like, what the fuck? But if you're in it, just focus that you have the physical. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about the price today, tomorrow. We can't control it. JP Morgan is, but we know BRICS is buying it. We know demand's high. Demand's huge. We know supply's limited or nothing. So we know the price has to go up. So stop worrying about this going up and down again. If we're at Christmas, silver was 70. So now it's 84, you'd be happy. So you're looking at 120, and that was a big. So anyway, those are the movies. At first you watch them and you're into them, and then you start watching it, like The Sting. You start watching it and you're going, "This is a stupid movie." As it played out, it was really, really stupid. But then I start not liking Paul Newman. I always liked Steve McQueen. I always liked him in his movies. So you start watching the movie for the character, not the movie. I think in the beginning you watch for Paul Newman or Steve McQueen or Tom Cruise or the women, and then the next time you watch the movie, you start watching the plot and the story, and you go, "This is really stupid." Right? I mean, as I said in Risky Business, why would you go on the train and leave your house unlocked so the mafia can steal all your furniture and all the money you made, you now have to pay for the furniture? Why would you do that? That was just stupidity. So that's what you really get to. But other movies, so I can't watch a Paul Newman movie. Cool Hand Luke, I don't get that anymore. The guy goes to jail for cutting the heads off of parking meters, goes to jail for it on a chain gang with mass murderers. I don't think so. And then he eats 50 eggs and he does all that, but then he escapes. Now, is it normal to let him go to his mother's funeral, or is it not normal? I don't know. Or they could have went with him or something. And then why would he escape over it? He's only got a year left. He's only in for 2 or 3 years. And he's already served most of it. So he's got a little time left. I'll go visit my mother at her grave when I get out. I don't need to visit her now. So I thought that was really stupid part. I didn't like the ending of it. Again, they shoot him in the church. Why did you shoot him? You didn't need to shoot him. You don't normally murder people, so why did you murder him? Anyway, so it's like I can't watch that movie anymore. I don't like, and then when they ruin the endings of the movies, it's not worth watching. Money Heist I like because Money Heist, the professor's smart, and they got away with everything. And it was well planned out. And then the ending, they get the gold and they get out, and he's very smart, so they don't shoot him. And that's the key to the ending of that movie, is you're watching it. So on that standpoint, that's the point of it. So that's that movie I like, because I like how smart and how much planning the professor did, and them getting away with it, and the way his strategy of returning brass for gold, it was very smart. Some of it was a little twisty for me, like getting the gold stolen in episode 7 and 8. I thought was stupid. Berlin's kid's not going to steal gold from the professor. That made no sense at all. He should have known the plan, and he should never have stole it from him. He should have been helping him, not stealing from him. So that made no sense. That was just like, oh, how do we make episode 8 and 9, and the whole thing. But you liked the way it ended. They got away. Nobody died, and a few people, but they ended up with the gold. That is you can watch that again. That's very well planned. So movies like that I like, but the Titanic is stupidity. We hit an iceberg. Really? You didn't, they told you there was icebergs all around. You didn't slow down and have your lights on it and go, hey, we better go really slow in case we come to an iceberg and we have to turn. Let's do that because it's a real calm night. You took no, that was stupidity. That wasn't smart, right? But that was ordered. So you missed the whole point of the Federal Reserve and JP Morgan ordering the ship to be sunk. And that would have made the movie better. Now I know why they got sunk. The Federal Reserve did it. 9/11 was a gold robbery. Okay, so if you're going to make a movie, you show the Israelis sitting there planning this out, going, okay, we're going to hit it. We're going to explode the buildings. And then the real point is we're taking the gold from outside of building 1 or building 2, wherever the gold was at the Federal Reserve. And it's going to be a diversion. So we steal the gold. That's the Israelis. That's fine. Have that type of movie showing the deception, showing what's really going on in there. But they didn't do that. It's just stupid. Hey, Alyssa, I'm busy. So that's really the point. You're trying to there was no the message, the storyline of the Titanic was, it's this woman who's 200 years old and she is sitting in the water. She never would have survived. She's on the door. When the guys are coming by with the boat, she had to swim to get the guy's whistle. She never would have been able to do it. It just wasn't real. So I thought it was stupid. That was a stupid storyline to show it. You should have done other things to show it. Anyway. This is one of my girlfriends. She lives here. Daria lives in Russia. She's my other girlfriend who, the difference is I see Alyssa a lot, but Daria, I got to go to Russia to see. So we're planning on a June trip, hopefully. Anyway, so it's the telling of the story has got to make sense. And so to tell the Titanic, I would have had JP Morgan and the bankers saying, there's guys on it. We gotta kill them, and made it into a suspenseful movie. And then when they kill it, now you can hate the bankers as we do for doing that. And that's the difference. You got to make the bankers, you got to hate the bankers. Here, the old lady, it was you didn't sit on a door for an hour or how long in the freezing. You were already wet. You did not survive. And you did not swim over to the guy with the whistle and blow the whistle. No, you didn't do that. You didn't survive that. So don't say you did. And then at the end, you would have not thrown the jewel into the ocean. You would have sold it and let your granddaughter and your family benefit from having the jewel. Why would you throw the jewel away? That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in any movie I've ever watched. And Leonardo DiCaprio's character was really just made no sense. There's some poor con man. Yeah, he's going to mingle with the rich people and golly gee, and he'll get the girl. No girl is going after a loser. No, it doesn't work. He's an artist. So he's going to paint me. Yeah. Okay. Sure he is. The girl wouldn't even have talked to him. And they met, over a day or two. And she's going to, now we're in love. Oh, yeah. Right. You got a rich guy. That's who, and you're going to use him. You're a gold digger. That's what you are. So I thought that was crazy. But that's the whole point. So as I start watching movies stoically, I start they kill the ending. So I don't like to watch, like Cool Hand Luke. I don't like the ending, so I don't want to watch it. It's not worth it. Uh, the King of Thrones did that with the Dragon Girl. Um, you killed the ending by killing the girl, so there was no point in watching any of the episodes. So I can't even watch it because I didn't watch it because it was on HBO and I don't have HBO. But you ruined the ending. You ruined the movie by killing her. She should not have been killed. She was the only decent one who's trying to get. It's like now you're trying to get rid of the bad government and bring in a new one. So here's the new one, and you kill her. It made no sense at all, and it ruined it, and therefore I never watched it. I thought it was, like I said, I watched a few episodes, but uh, didn't make any sense at all. The 7 different countries and going to war. Why don't you just call it the Roman Empire and go from there? But I thought you ruined that and you ruined the ending. So there's no point in watching it because the ending's so stupid. It makes no sense that I can't watch. I'm not going to watch the middle stuff to get to the ending, which sucks. At least Lord of the Rings, they end it properly. They kill Sauron and they kill the bad guys and okay, and the hobbits win and they're not powerful and it just shows you if you work hard, you get it. That made sense. But that's the point. Uh, and that's what you're dealing with are these uh, I don't know why they kill the people. What was I watching? Or 24, right? So we like 24, but if you notice in 24 in the last few seasons, they killed everybody off. They killed all the main characters off except for Chloe, and then Jack went to the Russian prison for no reason. Um, but everybody, you killed Audrey, you killed Bill Buchanan, you killed all these people. Why? Why are you killing them? But I noticed that in a lot of these movies, they kill before they wouldn't kill everybody off. Now, if you're like a star or co-star on these shows or movies, they kill you. They killed Tokyo in Money Heist. Why? That was stupid. You really like Tokyo. She was one of the reasons you watched it. You killed her. She should have been there at the end to be in with the gold. It made no sense to kill her. It was really stupid. So I don't know what's the thing, the problems, killing all the people in any of these type of military movies, like a 24, like Money Heist, like some of these other one, the King of Thrones, why they killed all those characters. And then the losers at the end who were in charge didn't change anything. They were just losers. So it really made no sense at all how they end a lot of these things. Very stupid. Um, but anyway, that's what I got. So a little off track today. Let's check our gold and silver for cart. And I will go get Alyssa. And then I go swimming. All right. So silver's 84.70, gold's 48.97, basically 49. The gold's hanging in there. Silver 84.70. We don't worry about it day by day, minute by minute. Okay, we think the low 75. It's not gone there. If we look at our silver chart, so silver is 84.74, and it's near the bottom. But notice it's all this 10 o'clock drop. It's the US pushing it down, probably margin calls. Why does it happen at 10? Because the US. Now, you notice it did go from 85 back up to 86. and now it's going back down. So this looks like the floor, 84.74 roughly, and it'll go back up. We're not looking to sell this. This is not. We're not day trading it, right? Back to 4,900 gold. We're not looking to day trade this. If it went to 5,500 today, I'm not looking to sell it because it's going to go to 10,000. And silver, I'm not looking to sell it. If it went to 95 right now, I'm not looking to sell it. I'm going to sell it never, and I'll sell a little at 1,000 an ounce, maybe a little at 700 an ounce. But that's where it's headed. So I don't really care what's happening at 85. It's just noise. Stop worrying about it. The key is you're out of the dollar or ruble or rupee or whatever you're in, and you're into, you've got the physical. You're not playing ETFs. You're not playing. So as long as you have this, so as long as I sold this to get into this, that's all that matters at this point. We don't care. That's fine. We have it. We're happy. We're fine. We're protected. And we're out of this because this is the real enemy. This is what's at zero. So in the Titanic, this would have been JP Morgan sabotaging the boat, right? Taking away the binocular, having somebody take the binoculars, having these idiots speed up instead of slow down when you're in an ice, when you're getting announcements of there's icebergs in the water. And that's what, and so that's, they were stupidity. That's why I don't like it, right? So now I'm watching movies if they're smart or stupid. And then we have all right. So anyway, I'm watching things for stupid and smart now because I'm more stoic and I more look at those idiot things on YouTube. The idiot, how people are idiots because they don't think, there's no critical thinking going on. And so when I see movies like that, I think it's stupid. Anyway, I don't like to kill the people, but that doesn't, I don't get the sense of that. Why would you kill anybody? You ever watch documentaries? Well, not really. A little like Adam Smith, I guess, on YouTube. I try to stay away from like Mr. Fuji, the AI guy. I try to stay away from Peter Schiff and Andy Scheckman. I've been watching them a little just to hear what they're saying about these crashes, and it's all about they don't know, and it's all about margin calls, and it's all about trying to keep the price down so the banks can get out of their positions. So I already know all that, so there's really nothing to watch, and that's it. So I will leave you with that. New England, or I keep doing that. Seattle, let's say 24 and New England 13. Let's give that. It'll be a low scoring game, and I guess I'm going with Seattle. I am trusting Darnold a little. New England's defense will give him a problem, but I'm betting on Kenneth excuse me, I'm betting on Kenneth Walker to run the ball to take the pressure off of Darnold, and they can't do it in New England, and Drake May can't run. I mean, he can run, but that's not going to do anything for him. Then they become one-dimensional. So with that said, that's what I do. So again, our last point on gold and silver. So I'll leave you. See, gold's back up to 49.09 and silver's 85.12. So you can't watch it minute by minute, but here we go. Now we're going back up, back to 5,000. And this is going back up to 90. So stop worrying about every freaking 10 minutes. It's going down, it's going up. This is all provided by COMEX options, manipulating the price. These are manipulated prices. This isn't physical. Very, very extremely limited supply of gold and silver, and huge demand for gold and silver. So just understand that concept. If there's huge demand and no supply, the price will go up. You might have this price fixing, the banks trying to get out of it. But at the end of the day, most banks are long now, and most banks want the price to go up. And we know BRICS does. Russia, China, Putin, India, Brazil, South Africa, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia all want the price to go up, plus the other 30 or 40 countries trying to join BRICS who want the price to go up. So keep that in mind. That's the key to it. And with that, stop worrying. Stop looking at the price every 5 fucking minutes. There's no point. It's the thesis. The price will go up because of the demand and the limited supply. And that's all you got to focus on. The rest is noise and bullshit, and I wouldn't waste my time with it. You can't look at it every 5 minutes. Don't be that emotional. Understand the game, and then you go, then you're fine. You see me getting emotional? That's why I came on at 11 for some of you to relax. Like, oh, we hit 5,000. We hit $90 silver. It was more to hit 5,000 gold. And we'll do it again tonight. If they're going to keep pushing the price down, China's going to keep pushing it up. And Russia and Japan and whoever's on that side, India, you're going to keep buying in your morning time when you have it, if we're going to keep hammering the price down. Until there isn't anymore. So I don't know why COMEX is even there, because the gold and silver isn't available to take delivery of. So I guess there's a little left, but it's mostly the banks. The banks are all going broke. As blunt as I can be, the banks in the U.S. are broke, as is HSBC, as is Toronto Dominion, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, all of them. They're all broke, the bullion banks. This is the last stand, and they're trying to get out of their options so they're not broke. That's all this is. So understand it. We could give a shit if the banks collapse or not, because we're not in the banks. We're in physical. We are out of the banking system with these, so we don't really give a fuck. If they all go out, we don't really care. It doesn't matter to us. With that, I will leave you. Again, I watch movies if they're smart, and basically I thought that the Titanic was stupid. And as The Color of Money, I thought the beginning was good, and then it didn't make any sense, the ending. And I think that's where I'm getting it. Cool Hand Luke, I didn't get the ending. A lot of these, I'm not getting the ending. And so it doesn't make sense. It's smart. I like pool. I like gambling. Cincinnati Kid. But then I didn't like the ending. The guy gets a full house to a straight flush. Well, okay, that happens. In Rounders, the guy doesn't even know how to play poker. And I told him his tell. No, you never tell the tell. That was stupid. A lot of his Matt Damon stuff he said was just wrong. It was stupid. I didn't get bad beat. I got outplayed. No, you had a full house. You didn't get outplayed. You got unlucky. He had a higher full house, but you're not folding your full house, especially when he's got pocket aces. You can't possibly see that, but you shouldn't have been betting, because you should know your opponent. And with that, I will leave you. So Seattle, let's go Seattle. Let's go 27. We'll split the Seattle 27. New England 13, 6:30 on Sunday, and I'll be back tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on gold and silver. If it jumps back like it did, I'll do a quick class to just say, hey, it's 5,000 again, it's 90 again, stop worrying. All right. And it's on its way. You're looking at $10,000 gold. You're looking at $1,000 silver. So just don't worry about the little, the banks don't want to go under yet, but they will because the money, if you understand anything, this is worthless. The euro is worthless. Your ruby is worthless. The Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, the Russian ruble, the Swiss franc, the British pound, Canadian dollar, they're all worthless. They're not backed by gold. They're all worthless. Just understand that. And you're getting out of them to get into real money, gold and silver. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to take out of the class. All right. Have a good day. I have to go put on my taxi uniform and go pick up Alyssa. All right. Take care. Have a great day. Stop worrying. There's nothing wrong. Gold and silver, if you own physical and you're not in ETFs, just hold on, put it in a safe, put it in a safe place, and get the fuck out of the banks because they're all collapsing. And this is what it looks like. This is what you're seeing. All right. Have a good day. Take care.